Celebrity Chrissy Teigen now getting a taste of the left's cancel culture. Multiple retailers distancing themselves from the former model and pulling her cookware line after several startling accusations of cyberbullying from the past resurfaced. One example, reality star Courtney Stodden claims that the former model sent abusive tweets and direct messages when she was only 16 years old, with one shocking private message where Teigen allegedly told Stodden to commit suicide.
So, I wanted to talk about this because this is the pros and cons about being an influencer, right? Because though I am not approving the tweets that she's done, right, from a long time ago, and how they're labeling it as cyberbullying. I believe the person that she was tweeting was like only 16 years old, right? So clearly the person now is about 20, 26 or something like that, right? And she went in, she was like, yo, I hope you get a dirt nap. Like the craziest things. Now, this was 10 years ago. How do I want to put this? I don't like the cyberbullying. I just don't like, it's 10 years ago. Do you not have a PR rep or somebody on your team to may just like delete some old stuff? Like at a certain point, once you reach a certain height, don't you have a team to comb through your stuff? Granted, the easiest thing to say is like, yo, mind your words. Don't say anything crazy on your platform with thoughts of, you know, becoming a celebrity, becoming a superstar, becoming people who will check on your stuff. We've seen things like this before with Kevin Hart and all that great stuff with, you know, the LGBT community and what he said in the past and how he had to go on a whole, whatchamacallit, whole sorry run. What is those called? The apology tours. He had to go on a whole situation about that. She has to put out multiple statements as well. But the thing that bugs me about this is she got dropped from major deals. Like she had her cookware was on the verge of like signing something and they dropped her quick, fast, in a hurry because of things that happened 10 years ago. So what we have to look at is, you know, how do we protect ourselves from this? How do we protect ourselves from maybe the things that we may think in our mind? We use social media to kind of just like, you know what, let me get this out. Let me go on this rant, because especially on Twitter, countless of celebrities have used that for rants, but a lot of them get dug up later. So is it safe to say that, you know, maybe just chill out on the rants? Maybe just keep that to yourself? Like, we're just in a different time. And yes, I could honestly say, not downplaying what happened. I do believe those tweets were very offensive. And if you didn't look them up, because I'm not repeating majority of them because they were just crazy, right? But if you didn't look them up, go look them up, right? Those tweets were considered cyberbullying clearly. However, to sit here and say that in 2021 and on, that we are not in a more sensitive time, I mean, we have to acknowledge that some things that could be said prior to years ago is no longer. But is it fair when a time that, not necessarily that it was accepted, but it kind of got blown off, that it keeps getting brought up in more sensitive times? Is that fair?
Well, the thing with Herb is that honestly, she kind of brought it like to herself, because if you follow her on Twitter, she's always used Twitter as a platform to go pretty crazy, right? Like, I think people probably didn't say nothing because her most recent bashes were towards Donald Trump. And I think everybody was taking swings at Donald, so like they wasn't really tripping. But it shows that she has a history of this, and now she just got caught. The bigger issue with it is it's just not her lane. You know, like, there's nothing specific to her lane. It has nothing to do with cooking, nothing to do with modeling, nothing to do with growing her brand. So that's like one of those things that I think, you know, you often speak on. It's like, yo, when it comes to branding, stay in your lane. Yes, we want to see your family. Yes, we want to see a personal side to you. We want to see all of those things that make you you. But for the most part, do it within reason and stay in your lane. So I think she had it coming for her, because if she did it back in the day and still had, you know, from time to time, she's pretty vocal, especially on Twitter. I think that's what, you know, brought her into this mess, which is unfortunate, but you got to have discipline.
I'm with it. It's unfortunate to see some of these things being brought up and you're losing major deals for stuff that you've done 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But like I said, I think if you have the mindset of that I'm going to get big, this is not just on a viral situation, this is literally my line of work kind of thing, then I would have to say you have to be mindful from the jump of what you do. You have to be mindful as far as, you know, even having a team that could possibly check you, you know. There should have been people who possibly deleted just some old stuff. They have services to where you could delete your old Twitter joints, especially when you're like, you see your success going, delete all those tweets. Like, stop, delete some of the pictures that you have on some of these social media platforms. Invest in that at some point, or take the time to do that at some point. We keep seeing things like this over and over again. At what point will they, you know, that's a business. And they may have the business like that. Just a group of people who will comb through your social media and delete anything questionable. Have meetings with you. Look, these are things we found. Do you want to keep these or not? This is the pros and cons of that. Someone cash me out a check.
Somebody listen to this podcast is going to run with that.
Right.
And be like, yo, we got this thing cooking.
Yo, just, that's all I ask. Just give credit.
That's a good idea, though.
I mean,
I'll tell you what, that's not something that's really talked about, and it's important, you know, because to your point, if you have the intention of going big or just having a large following, and that's a desire of yours, we see that the downfall with a lot of these big name celebrities or influencers is that they typically catch on too late, and then they got to come back and say, oh, shoot, I'm sorry, that's not who I am anymore. But if you can avoid that and clearly save yourself money in the process, because every single person has lost something. You mentioned Kevin Hart, you know, he was threatened to, I don't know, he got kicked off the Grammys or something like that?
So he was supposed to host the Oscars, and unless he apologized again or addressed it again, he wasn't going to be able to host it. And he said, I'm not going to, you know, address something from over God knows how many years ago that I've already apologized for. So yeah. So that, you know, it's just like you still end up losing something. It ends up coming as a chink in your armor. So it's like, I like that though. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that, you know, like be proactive. And if you have the intention, just start cleaning up right now. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.